Good evening, everyone. How are you? Yeah, how are you? No, you'll tell me how you are in the comments. But yeah, good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 6th of January, 10 minutes past midnight. I was just doing some journaling before I sleep because, I like to like at least end the day knowing where I went wrong and where I went right. So yeah, I was just doing a bit of journaling, and today in my journal I realized something like I was fortunate enough to have my first A setup. Yeah, I'd even call it, I don't know, should I call it an A plus or just an A? But yeah, today was the first time having an A setup since I decided to consistently start journaling all of my trades. Because like if you can see all most of my setups, like I'll give them the grades like B, B plus, B, C, and that's simply based on the confluence factors I'll have. So most of my trades, any setup that I'll give like a C, like the grade C, it just means like I didn't have too like so much of a confluence to go on to to give me great confidence. And then trades where I had like I'd give them the grade B would simply mean like the probably based on the 15-minute time frame, but maybe on the higher time frames like I couldn't align it properly, but only within the 15-minute market structure I was able to spot something. But today was like the first time, like I think ever since, when did I start journaling this? I think I started journaling this last month on the 11th of December. So today was the first time since then. I've had good trades and bad trades since then, but today was the first time I had an A setup, which was simply because the higher time frame. Oh, disclaimer: I only trade with two time frames. I use the H4 time frame, like the 4 hour time frame, and the 15-minute time frame. You know, but yeah, like you'll see sometimes I do cheat. Like on this C setup, I quickly saw a opportunity on the 5 minute time frame, and I was able to go in and have like a small win and everything like that. But yeah, most of the times I only use the 4 hour time frame and to have like a general idea on order flow on the bias, and then I use the 15-minute time frame for like more detailed market structure and to plan my entries and the like. Almost all my entries are on the 15-minute time frame. So today was the first time I have a trade that aligns with the H4 as well as the 15-minute. And I was just journaling it, and I was like, you know what? I haven't even finished journaling it. Like I still haven't finished it, but I was like, no, I should record this one because yeah, like it aligned, and I might as well just break it down like for everyone like to see as well. Anyone who might be interested. So yeah, I'll try and make it like quickly. Like I won't. I'll try not to take too much time. So yeah, let's go. We'll start like from the H4 all the way like to the M15. Yeah. So I haven't paid for TradingView, so I'll just use my screenshots for now. So this is how it looked on the 15-minute time frame. Like when I was getting in the trade, like this was when I was taking my screenshot, and then this was the outcome that we had. We were able to hit our take profits, and yeah, have a good day. So let's start like just from the H4 time frame. Like I always firstly, let me even apologize. My free trial on TradingView has expired, so we're out here now. We're out here. So I have one tab open on the left for Euro USD on the 4 hour time frame, and one tab open on the right for British pound US dollar on the 4 hour time frame. And then yeah, so I start trading every day at 8. I think that's the best time that works for me. Back then I used to like maybe not 8, my god. I start trading at 3 a.m. UTC minus 4 time, 3 a.m. New York time. That's when I like to like approach the markets, and then maybe I'll get in a trade at that time, but most of the time I'll find out that I get in a trade normally on the 3:15 a.m. candle or the 3:30 a.m. candle, and this is New York time, mind you. So in Zambia, Botswana, it's 10 a.m. I normally like open my laptop to look at the charts at like 9:50 a.m. and then yeah, I'll probably get in a trade at 10, 10:15, 10:30. If I can't find anything within that time frame, I normally just hang back because I know like then I'll check again at 4:30 New York time, which would be like 11:30 in Botswana or in Zambia. So yeah, the first thing I look for is on any time frame is the SMT divergence, because that's what highlights the shift in momentum as well as structure, you see. So like if there is no SMT, I'm not taking a trade, my guy. Like nah, there's nothing for me if there's no SMT. So even this morning, like we'll just the market is currently moving, but let's just pretend it's not, and it's this morning and everything, but it's not even like moved so much to cause much of a problem with understanding the concept I'm trying to say. But yeah, so when I open my charts, I'll do this exact same thing. I will have GBP USD on one side, and I'll have Euro USD on the other side. Hey, let me make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. I'll have GBP USD on one side, Euro USD on the other side. Then I start with looking for the SMT. So the only issue was with this morning was, um, price was around these levels. You get like price was giving bearish vibes when I was approaching the market. So I was only, I quickly tried to see like, can I find any SMT that would highlight shorts that would make us sell these assets. But just looking at them, like for example, you'd have to focus on like these on the Monday 5 January 1 a.m. candle and before. Those are the candles we'd have to focus on both charts. The Monday, like you'd have to look like here and here, and we just have to focus on everything happening before it. So let's just ignore everything after this vertical line and just focus like this side as well as here. So from just like looking at these areas, I hope my mouse is like working. Like if you can see, I'm above the highs of these the Euro USD sides. So just looking from these, I couldn't see any SMT at the time. You see now, for example, we do have a SMT here. This is just an example. Don't get in your market and start selling. But like this is, for example, an SMT. This is a valid SMT. You get me? But we did not have that this morning. We only had it on like the lower side of the market. So that had me to look for buys. So something I started looking at first was these two, was like this area here. I was looking at, let me even just delete this vertical line, sorry. So when I got on the chart, I was looking at this area here because that's where we were, and then from there, when you look to the left, the first thing you'll see is this fair value gap. You get. So I highlight it was, oh yeah, shit, that's actually second. Let me mark the SMT first. Yeah, but yeah, so the first thing I had noticed was we had a SMT on Monday 22nd December 2025 at 1 a.m. because if you can see, the same thing for Euro USD is here. This is this candle here. This is Monday 22 December at 1 a.m. So we had this was the first thing I was able to notice, and within that I was hold on, 1 a.m. Yeah, I think because when I was analyzing the market, it was here. I don't want to like get it wrong. Yeah, so I found the market like this. So this would give us Euro USD being the weaker assets if you were looking for buyers. And then on GBPUSD, the same candle, Monday 22 December 2025 at 1 a.m. on this chart, Monday 22 December at 1 a.m. on this chart. And as you can see, we have bullish SMT on GBPUSD. So after looking at that, I was like, okay, we have our SMT. Now I look for three things to enter a trade. I look for SMT, I look for a fair value gap, and I look for a change in state delivery. These are the three things I look for when I'm like looking for to a trade, whether I'm buying or selling. I look for SMT, I look for fair value gaps, and I look for change in state delivery. So next thing we had to do was look for our fair value gap. On both charts, we were able to find the fair value gap, but yeah, so let me just highlight the fair value gap real quick. Like it's from it would be from this low to this high, so I'll just use this rectangle and I'll just leave it here. And then on the other side, we have the same. We had the fair value gap here. So now we have our fair value gaps, but then you also have to check, is your fair value gap still valid? You get, so I don't know, we're all different, I guess. So for me, what constitutes as a so cool, what constitutes as a valid fair value gap is if it has taken out any highs. You get, so for example, this fair value gap was created here, right? And then the market rallied up, and then it rallied back into the fair value gap in this area. So by the time I was looking at the market, yeah, this candle already existed. It was already there. The market already came here, and then it rallied up and came back. So some people might say like, no, you shouldn't use a fair value gap twice or things like that. But what I say is, if the fair value gap doesn't take like its main high out, it's still valid, meaning the fair value gap never came and took out this high until now. Now it has, like, now that in this area it has, but at that moment it never took out this high. It rallied up, it came back into the fair value gap, and then it just consolidated still. So to me, this was still very much valid, you get. And I was like, oh, this is something I can trade, and it was a clean fair value gap, because even for like Euro USD, I feel like this candle tapped it, you know what I'm saying? And then this candle went and it took out like the high it had there, and yeah, like it just kept making more highs as well. But even so, I don't know, on this side I don't really know if I'd consider it valid, but here I was like, no, this is a clean fair value gap, the high hasn't been taken, and that's something I'm okay with. So now I was like, okay, cool, like, yeah, we have like our H4 done. Now we need to go into our 15-minute time frame. I didn't have any change in state delivery, because a change in state delivery means like liquidity has to be taken. So I'm looking at the chart, and I think I'm looking at it from this candle. This low wasn't taken. Maybe you could use maybe, I don't know, this candle as a change in state delivery, but I was just like, no, I just didn't see it, to be honest. So I had on the H4 time frame, I had a fair value gap and I had a SMT. So that gave me enough to be like, okay, maybe I can go into the lower time frame now and look for bullish pricing. So you just simply go into the lower time frame, and then yeah, let's just and for example with me, yeah, I only trade, sometimes I might trade the weaker asset, because in this specific example, let me go back. I've already said it, but I just want to highlight on it again. 1 second. Yes, so for this specific example, if you want to buy any of these assets, in this example, GBPUSD will be the stronger asset for buys, because of this bullish SMT, because this low was not taken out. You get, I hope it makes sense, and even if it doesn't, just hit the comments and then I'll break it down. Like, but you always want to trade the stronger asset, you get. Let me even just give an example for a sell opportunity. If you wanted to sell this asset, if you look at GBPUSD, it's taken out, it's making new highs. Why would you want to sell an asset that's making new highs? But look at Euro USD, it's almost failing to make new highs. So if I wanted to sell, I would look more to this asset over the other one, you get. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight on that, but let me delete. So now I do, with what I just said in mind, like GBPUSD is the asset I wanted to, look for buys on, because you don't have any idea if this asset will continue to make lower lows to maybe find another fair value gap to react off of. We don't have that knowledge. So because of that, we just want to focus on which asset we think will be stronger to go in our direction. You get? Okay, cool. So the next thing we needed to do was break it down into a lower time frame to um, look for our entry. And because we've already said GBPUSD is the asset we want to like look for the entry on, that's when now I will like maximize my screen and I will like almost completely disregard Euro USD. Like if it's continuing to make lower lows, or lower lows and or just consolidate, I'll focus just here, because I've noticed stuff like that can happen. So now, yeah, we jump into the smaller time frame, which is the 15 minutes. And then, yeah, I think maybe I can like try and redraw it. But then we're gonna need Euro USD again, because when you want the best entry, try and look for SMTs on multiple time frames, so yeah, we're gonna bring that back. But okay, we hopefully you guys will remember these, because I don't like to have a messy chart. So I'm gonna take out these and then we're gonna draw new SMTs. Okay, so let me even just split the screen again, and then we jump into the small 15-minute time frame, because I remember having an SMT on 15-minute and I want to highlight it again. Yeah, so let me just leave these there and make some space. So something also is ATM, but I won't go into much about that, but because I don't want to confuse you guys. But yeah, ATM, I also use ATM, which is the concept I was taught by my mentor. So I normally try and mix the two. Like I'll use ATM for like the direction, like you want to trade in the direction of the market, but then I'll use SMT, fair value gaps, and CSD for trying to get the execution as accurate as possible. Basically, you get. So now I actually want to see like what time did I get in this trade? Let me try and see. This was okay, cool. I got in the trade on this candle here. So the 315 candle, like I did say in the beginning of the video, like I normally um focus on like trying to get my entries on the 3 a.m., 3:15, 3:30 candle. If I can't, then normally I've noticed like I'll just let the market be and come back at 4:30. That's when if I can't get the entry in those times. So now let's see. It's the same concept. We've marked our daily open and we can see prices how it is. So the next thing we do is we do the whole process over again. We look for SMT, we look for our change in state delivery, and we look for fair value gap. Okay, so I think the first thing I had noticed was there was a fair value gap here, but then it got tapped. Let me even see. Yeah, it got tapped, and then yeah, but let me not, I don't want to confuse you guys, but yeah. So what had happened? I think I started looking at the charts at 3. Yeah, so let's try and see if we can find any SMT before 3. Let me see. It will only take me a second. Okay, I've already found it. So like I said, Euro USD I felt was the weaker pair on the H4 time frame, but when I came to the um um what's it called, yeah, to the 15-minute time frame, it did seem to be like the stronger asset, because I was able to notice this SMT. So this is from what, 3, wait, what time was it from? uh yeah, from 1 a.m. Like, and something I genuinely believe in is time. Like time is the point. Like, especially the hours. I like to have the SMTs at hourly candles. Like I don't like to have a SMT at 3:45 on a 3:45 candle. Because 345 on a 1 hour candle it's not gonna be a high or a low, but you can find like if you have your SMT at like 3 a.m., that could either be the low of the candle or the high of the candle, not in between on an hourly time frame. I hope I'm making sense, but if I'm not, comment. But yeah, so I was able to find this SMT here from 1 a.m. to let me just say 3. I'll just refine it as we go because I also don't remember since it was this morning and stuff. So yeah, here also 1 a.m. to 3. You can see this SMT, like you can see it, right? Like, let me hide this. Yeah, you can see this SMT is real. You get. So even when I was trading in this moment, because Euro USD, this SMT seems stronger than this one because this one did not create a new low. But for GU, it created a new low. And that made me, it gave me a moment of like, okay, wait, should I trade Euro USD instead of GBP USD? But something I've always noticed and believed in, and also just noticed from other traders, is you want to trade the asset that's stronger on the higher time frame. So I was like, okay, even though on the M15 the SMT is like weaker on GU, I'm still going to trade GBP USD because on the H4, like it was still, I still felt like that one was still a stronger asset. So now I had my SMT, but I didn't have. I needed to find my change in state delivery and my fair value gaps. And I actually don't even remember now. So like I'm just gonna have to open the screenshot and see how we did it because I don't remember. So yeah, this was GBPUSD. And then yeah, something did happen. Oh, so yeah, this same we just ended up just this same there was a fair value gap here, but even now I didn't rate it. I won't lie, I didn't rate it at all because I like clean fair value gaps. You can just see how price came here, but I was like, man, that's what we have. At least on the H4 time frame, we did have a clear fair value gap that involved SMT. So I was like, okay, that's okay. And then something did happen. Which candles was it? We then formed another SMT which showed that GBP USD could be the stronger asset. Let me just, I'm sorry, I don't remember, but yeah, this green candle here, yeah, we'll just take that. So I even remember. Oh, it's the same 3 a.m. candle. God, yeah, it's the same 3 a.m. candle actually. Yeah, so I remember I just turned it like this. Like I literally just turned it. That's why even my screenshot, you see it shows like that. Because here what had happened, the same 3 a.m. candle made a new low. And this is now after 3. So when I saw this, I was like, clock it. Clock it. Because now we have GBP USD being the stronger asset for SMT on H4 as well as M15. So now it's like, okay, cool. Like that one confluence was just a lot for me. I was like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So let's just see. How did I time my entry? Yes. So your change in state delivery, yeah, is supposed to be a candle that kind of takes out liquidity. You get. So it's because of what's, I guess the assumption is supposed to be like, price is supposed to go in a certain direction, and then when it doesn't, the candle that changes that is what's called the CISD. So for example, just looking in this area, I was like, the only candle which I feel could act as the um change in state delivery was this one, the 2:30 a.m. candle, simply because it took out the lows of 2:15, it took out the low of 2 o'clock, it took out the low of 1:45, it took out the low of 1:30, and it took out the low of 1:15. And it did not take out the low of 1 a.m. So I was like, oh, okay, I think this can be our change in state delivery. And something about me, I don't know about other people, but for me personally, if I'm going to buy, an asset, I want my change in state delivery to be a bearish candle. I don't like it like if I'm buying an asset and my change in state delivery is a bullish candle, because what change in state is, I don't see it. So I was like, we had our change in state delivery. So from there, that's how I plan my entry to be like. My entry will be the high of the change in state delivery. You get. So yeah, I wish I could actually replay. If I could have used the replay function, it would be way nicer for y'all. But if you guys want knowledge, this is how you're gonna get it. I'm gonna like, I will, what's the word? I will get trading view. Like I will get it, but for now, this is what you're gonna work with. So now we have our fair value gap, which was this area. I didn't like it, I won't lie. I don't think it was neat or anything, but the SMTs was what was for me. That was where I was like, okay, no, because of the SMT, I'm going to take this trade and this and this. So your initially the way I was taught about CSDs is that your entry should be the high of the candle, and um your what your your stop loss should be the low of the candle if you're buying. You get. So for example, like in a perfect world, your SMT, your entry model should look like this. You get. Like in a perfect world and stuff like that, like your entry should be on the high of the candle over here. Let me just lock it because I don't like the way he's doing that. Yeah, your entry should be the high of the candle, and then your stop loss should be the low of the candle. But we already had, like, the next candle after this was this. So I was like, oh no, like I didn't want to go for the conservative approach. I was like, I didn't want to go for the aggressive approach of, having a tight stop loss and everything. I was just like, my stop loss will be the low of the day. And if you look at a lot of my trades, my stop loss is normally the low of the day or the high of the day. That's how, and it's been working. You get. So, as you can see, we got in our trade. We got in the trade on this candle here. Let me minimize and come back here. Okay, let me even just focus here now. Yeah. I hope, yeah. So, let me, yeah, remove. So, we got in the trade. So, the way CSD works is like this, yeah? You have to wait for price to close above the high of this candle. The high of this candle is 1.341313, as you can see, like on the top left screen. So you're supposed to wait for price to close above the high of this candle, and then you enter upon the retracement. You get. So I was like, oh, okay. This will be our trade. Like this is the high, but then conservative approach as well. I was like, I'll use the low of the day. Yeah. So this green candle here is oh damn, let me look it again, sorry. Yeah, so this green candle, I saw price come above this 2:30 a.m. candle with this green candle at 3:15, and then price did close above it. So from then on, that's when I came and said, yep, when price comes back down here, which it did with the next 3:30 candle, that's when we enter. So yeah, price went up at 3:15, and then it came down. Hey, this thing is annoying me. Yeah, so price went up at 3:15. It came all the way here, and then it closed. So when it closed, I was like, yeah, we have our fair value gap, we have our change in state delivery confirmed. Price has closed above the candle, which took out these lows, and now we just need to wait for price to come back. So that's when I placed my buy. And yeah, I told my people, like, yo, I'm going to buy GBPUSD at 34313. My stop loss is going to be 1.34167. I'm going to go for a risk to reward ratio of 1:2. So I always go for 1:2. Then I just like lock in profit and just let the market do as it pleases. You get. Cool. So yeah, price came back down with this momentum. Even, like, I won't lie, I was a bit worried when I saw this red candle, because I thought, like, hey, what's going on? New year, it's like the first Monday for the chart. So I thought, like, we're just gonna have some terrible price action. But it respected, it respected the fair value gap, it respected open price. Once price closed above the CSD, you can even notice price never closed below. Hey, maybe I'll lie here. Let's see. 34249. Let's see. I want to see if price closed below open price even once. Open price for the day even once before. Okay, yeah, it did, but yeah, you can just see in this area price did, but yeah. So yeah, we got in our trade. Like we got triggered on the 330 candle, and then it was just honestly a matter of holding. Like when I was in drawdown here, I was sweating, but I was like, honestly, I've had a good trade. I've had good trades before. So if this one hits stop loss, the next one maybe we'll get the next one. So yeah, then price delivered. Like we had a 1, 2, 3, 4. We had a little consolidation of just 4 candles before we had our breakthrough. Straight to TP, straight. Lovely, lovely stuff. Lovely, and that's the trade we had today. I actually had a losing trade on the New York session after that, but I didn't document it. Like, I broke my rules, so I didn't even have time to take screenshots or look for my things. Like, I was just trying to make money to buy a Benz, and I took a loss in the afternoon. But yeah, this was a good win we had in the morning. Yeah, SMT, fair value gap, change in state delivery. Yeah, that's it. Let me not make this too long. And I have to finish my journal. But yeah, guys. Simple, simple things. So let's trade. Oh. Oh, tomorrow it's trade. But yeah, I'm gonna be posting more breakdowns. Yeah, one day there'll be a day when and look at price, bruh. Look, like, wow. Like today was bullish. Price came exactly at 8:30, touched open price, and it just shot up. Like today's price action, yeah, yeah. I'm very excited for tomorrow, but we just have to be humble. We have to be patient. We have to be disciplined, especially. Like that's really the secret. I took a loss, and I won't lie. If I didn't take that loss, I wasn't going to journal today. Don't let the wins get to your head. For real, for real. So yeah, that's it from your boy. Hopefully I'll be making more videos for y'all, because it's really simple, man.